Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Roses are red, league football is back. How many more games till Russell Martin gets the sack? I am your host for this evening, Ross McLean, and joining me, my two guests for this evening. First of all, Alistair Pearson. Ali, how are we this fine Friday evening?
Outside of Rangers, very well. It's a chore. To be honest, it's a chore having to come on. I mean, me and Carney did last night, which we probably both didn't want to do, to be honest. And for our sins, we need to come on the following night and discuss Rangers again. So yeah, it's a therapy session. So by the end of the hour, maybe I'll feel a wee bit better. And thanks very much, Pam, for the congratulations. A lot of messages this week on, obviously, my news of proposing to my girlfriend. So,
yes, you've got to say fiance now, I think.
Fiance.
I suppose not. Oh, no, because you proposed to your girlfriend. Oh, you're right. You've proposed to your girlfriend, but she is now your fiance, yes.
Yeah, it's weird saying that now, isn't it? And then obviously when you get married, you say wife as well. So, I know. It's weird. But I was saying to Carney last night, everyone asks you, Carney will be getting the same. Well, he would have got the same as well. But it's like, when you're getting married, what you doing? It's like, Christ, It's only been less than a week. Don't have a clue. But yes, thanks everyone.
Good stuff, mate. Well, it's Malaga, whatever we want to go for the stag, I'm there. Just know that I'm on
Carney's to get out the way first. Don't worry.
That is correct. That is correct. So we shall use that as a trial run for Ali's. But yes, very exciting stuff, mate. Very, very good indeed. And Carney, yourself, mate, how is things after a Rangers performance? You know, it's kind of that. It's all I need to say, and everybody knows what the sentiment is in the camp. But how are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. Getting away from Rangers. I'm good, mate. Everything is absolutely fine. It's with Rangers that is bringing the rest of life down with you, unfortunately, because you're kind of stuck in this constant rut of just this never-ending show that seems to be going on and on. That I just want it to end. I really do want it to end. Hence why this podcast is called Tonight When Will It End? Because I'm desperate to see the end of it. But yeah, look, mate, it is what it is. Before we go any further, just a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is proudly sponsored by Lux Lift Events, where they elevate your occasion, whether it's a wedding, birthday, baby shower, or a seasonal celebration like Halloween or Christmas. Lux Lift Events brings the magic from stunning artificial flower arrangements and luxury balloon displays to candy stands, selfie stations, and even soft play setups for the little ones. They've got everything to transform your event into something unforgettable. If you want your next celebration to be stylish, fun, and picture perfect, let Lux Lift Events do the lifting. Find them on social media. The link to their Instagram is in the description for this podcast. And because with Lux Lift Events, it's time to elevate your occasion. Ali, you're sorted, mate. You've got somebody to do all your balloons for you. Is your good lady a balloon lady? Is she like Morelos' missus?
Morelos, Christ. He was as I used to use a joke, he was keeping all the balloon shops afloat in Glasgow.
He was.
Wasn't he? When he was here. Yeah, no, she does like balloons. She was very, when I did balloons in the hotel we stayed at, Carney, and the first thing she said to me was,
You definitely didn't. That wasn't you.
It 100% was me. She, the exact same reaction to you, Carney. She came in and went, "Did you get a company to do this?" And I went, "No." I will give. My sister did help me in terms of how to do it, so she gave me an idiot's guide of how to do it. So yes, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure you could do it to the level that Lux Lift Events do it, mate. But
no,
it was a fair effort.
It
was a fair effort. It was a fair effort.
It was indeed. You know where to go where you're needing any of your party occasion wear. That is a place to go.
I'm just belaying tactics here, Ross, to be honest. What can you make any balloon animals? Anybody? Can anybody in the chat make any balloon animals? What animals can you make?
Please,
yeah, anybody? What can you do? A manager is a balloon. That is correct. Yes, that is correct.
There you go.
Yeah, what else can we talk about? Sorry,
the weather's a bit. Anyway,
it's rubbish. It's rubbish outside, isn't it? It's horrible. It's not nice.
That is. Speaking of horrible, Rangers played some football yesterday. There's a very, very simple agenda tonight, gents. Discussing how disappointing our club is. Really, as positive as it sounds, I mean, Jings, there's very little positives to speak about, but there's no other place to get into it than last night's game of football. Strumgrats 2, Rangers 1, second game in the league phase of the Europa League. And, Thursday nights, they're Rangers nights. They're definitely not Rangers nights anymore. That is 2 losses from 2 for the Glasgow side. And yes, let's dissect it, lads. Obviously, I listened to your post match yesterday. It was a very honest analysis. It always is. It's just you need to get it off your chest. I think the post match is good because you can come on straight after it, and it obviously gets it out of the way. For me, I'm sat in my bed tossing and turning, thinking about that second goal in particular. You guys get it off the chest. So I'm glad I'm here tonight. I shall let that be known. So I guess going straight into first, Max 123 4. Thank you very much for the donation.
Thank you so much.
That is the younger cousin, I think. I think
Is
that. I think so, Max. That is ridiculous, mate. That is unbelievable. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, lad. That is class.
Thank you, young Max.
Absolutely class. So I guess jumping straight into it, mate. The starting 11, relatively predictable, probably for me. The one case kind of change in there. Chamiti getting his start for Rangers. Obviously, Miovski did take apparently a wee bit of a knock early on in the last few games. So Chamiti, he gets his start. But with that start 11, mate, were you any grudges at all?
Not really. Me and Carney kind of covered it last night in terms of the one I thought may have started was Rothwell, because he's come on in the last few games and looked decent for the 20 minutes he's come on in most games. But that's all we've really got to pick from. If you really look at it at the moment, you look at the bench, Giga obviously has fallen away too. In terms of it's Suter and Cornelius is the two favoured centre halves at the moment. So you look at it, and then Mikey Moore, obviously, I mean, you know my thoughts on Mikey Moore and the majority of the Rangers fans. So I thought it would be a Gassama, Ant-Man, and obviously Chermiti played against Genk, so I thought he'd play through the middle as well. So no, there was no shocks for me.
No, Carney, I think likewise, just very, very similar. The one for me, it's interesting you say Rothwell because he's came on in spells. He's a guy who obviously close to Russell Martin. He does have that kind of relationship there. I don't know if I'd yet seen him from the start. He is probably a guy who'll come into contention soon, but the team really picked itself, didn't it, really?
Last night, yeah, I wasn't. I didn't look at it and go, like I wasn't. There was no shock in it. I thought that's exactly what he would go with. It was looks like the most settled selection that he can pick. And yeah, I get what you're coming with Rothwell. I think the reason we're bringing Rothwell up is because Diomandi's really been very disappointing this season. Not a lot of people have a massive amount of faith in Barron to be able to do the job, and I think we're looking for another option in that particular role, and Rothwell might be that guy. If we played Raskin deeper, played Rothwell a little bit further forward with somebody else in front of him, in front of them, then yeah, that's the only one that I could see. We have seen glimpses of what Rothwell can do in terms of just running and carrying with a ball. The player that we all thought we were getting, we've just not seen it consistently enough. But we are at the point where he hasn't been great, but we would be like to see him a run in the team. But in terms of starting 11, I knew Chamiti would come back in, mate. We didn't pay £8 million for a striker to not play in Europe, basically. Yeah, no massive shocks in it at all, mate.
No, likewise. It was, as I say, very much the template for last night. I guess okay. I'll bring in a quick comment for tonight, and folks, please get your comments in because it is very much over to you this evening. We want to hear all your opinions. I'm bringing this wee comment here. We look okay until the first 5 minutes until the manager adjusts from the touchline. Well, we can fast forward it to the 7th minute where exactly that happened, where Rangers find themselves 1-0 down. It's a cracking start from Rangers. It really is. We lose the ball from our own throw. Silence for dramatic effect. One pass, genuinely the one pass cut through a whole defence, and the goal scorer has all the time in the world to get the finish past Butland. Ali, if we look back at it, there's 3 defenders right in front of him. Genuinely 3 defenders right in front. Whether they're blocking Butland's eyesight, I don't know. Obviously, it's a bit disappointing from a keeper's point of view as well. Obviously, Butland kind of palms it into the goal. Just defensively is not our forte. I shall say that, and that's me putting it politely.
It's mentality, Ross. That's what it is. Mentality of these players. As Russell Martin would say, it's not his tactics, of course. It's mentality, which I no doubt you'll get on to. But you come to expect it now, Ross. I spoke to Carney last night, and you look through the goals we've conceded this year under Russell Martin, and there's hardly any goals out that you go, that was a cracking strike by that boy, or it was a well-worked goal by that team. We gift goals. And I know we're coming up to Christmas soon, but I mean, these are Christmas presents. So that one in particular, Tav's got the ball on a touchline. We've got a throw in, and within about 10 seconds of it, the ball's in the back of our net. Yep. John Suter's out of position. Cornelius doesn't cover himself in glory. Magoma's out of position as well. It's just a shit show at the back, and it's been like that all season. We thought when Cornelius came in, and obviously John Suter's beside him, who, you know my thoughts on John Suter. I think he's an all right squad player, but he's not good enough to play for Rangers in big games. I don't think he's good enough. You thought you might get a wee bit of, because he's played Tav, obviously a settled back four, if you want to say, in terms of Tav, Suter, Cornelius, and Magoma. The last at least few games now, and you thought it might bring something, but no, not at all. It's an absolute shit show at the back with Rangers at the moment. So, yeah, I wasn't shocked, Ross, if I'm being honest about it. When I seen it go in, I went, as I said to Carney last night, I went, of course, because that's what we do. We ship these goals. And yeah, I don't see it changing. I really don't see it changing with these players. But apparently Russell Martin says it's mentality. That's what it is.
Mentality, indeed. Carney, we know from reports of Russell Martin that apparently his defensive tactics are not anywhere near stunning. You know, there's been a history of his defensive, I guess, records not being the greatest. But this is surely a new low for the guy. I mean, we are conceding goals after goals. You put the Benny Hill theme tune behind it, and it does not look out of place at all. And I genuinely, I mean that. You know, as much as, you know, I'll say it with a smile on my face. It's just, there's so many goals that we concede, mate, that it's schoolboy errors. Is there anything else, I guess, to add on that goal? The first goal in particular, it's just embarrassing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, it's a calamity, mate. It really is. And I think what's becoming clear more than anything else is Russell Martin just isn't a very good coach. I think that's pretty clear. But his history is not exactly a glowing one. For a defender, not that he was a very good defender. He maybe had his purple patch, but apart from that, he was a very average football player. But he can't set up a backline to save his life. He really can. Our defensive tactics are... They're criminal. They are criminal, and we are the easiest team to get at. I've never seen a Rangers team as easy as it is to just create chances. Whenever you want to create a chance, but it's not hard for you to create a chance. There's a lot of running about from our players. It's not as if we're standing still. There's a lot of running about, but nobody does anything. Like, literally nobody does anything. We are at the point where I think the players don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're meant to be. They don't know if they're meant to be in position A, position B, or position C. And it just, as soon as the ball's moving, it's just that. I mean, Tav takes about 40 seconds to take a throw. He takes a throw to Shamiti. Shamiti needs to do better. There's no doubt he does. But then the ball breaks to them. One pass, we just open up the floodgates, really, and it's as easy as you like. I've not seen a replay of the goal from behind the goal whether Butland was blocked. I would imagine he would. Look, Butland gets pass marks for me so far this season because he's made some unbelievable saves, and throughout last night he made 4 or 5 maybe cracking saves, really good saves to keep us in it, really. So it's just becoming more clear the more time goes on, mate, that Russell Martin just isn't a very good head coach and he can't set up a football team. That's as polite as I can put it.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I'd give you politest points there. I think that has been pretty fair on it. It needs to be fixed. It does need to be fixed very shortly. One man who you did mention, who I will highlight, I'm sure, a lot throughout this game recap, Jack Butland. Where would it be without the guy? Genuinely, a guy who at the start of the season understandably, there was cries of, right, maybe it's time to move on. Do we, make that transition? But fair play to him. You do need to sit back and kind of go, for the guy who was understandably criticised, he's bounced back like an absolute, unit. So I completely fair play to Jack, but on many, many saves, not just last night, but as we say, throughout the course of the season. But it does tell you how bad we're playing when the goalkeeper does come up a lot in conversation. So yes, positivity there for you folks. Positivity there. I guess kind of going on to the rest of the first half. One man in particular, Ali, who I shall highlight, that £8 million baller that is Chuck Mitty, or I'm hoping will turn out to be a baller. I think there was moments last night where genuinely I thought I could see, right, okay, now we're getting. Obviously, I had that chance off the bar. I thought he was holding up a wee bit at times. What was your kind of overall analysis of Chuck Mitty? Obviously, that big price tag will always hang over his head, and it rightly so. Don't get me wrong, £8 million for us is a lot of cash. So whenever that's paid, we're right to have our judgments reserved. But was last night a bit of a glowing light for you and Mitty, or is it very much the jury's still out?
I thought he was okay, Chermiti. But then the way we play, we could have Haaland up front for us, and I think he would look average, to be honest. And you've seen that with Miofsky come in. Miofsky, we all said, and we've seen him play for Aberdeen in Scotland, a good striker, but we don't play to these guys' advantages, if you want to say. And I think they're isolated at times. Chermiti, I thought, held the ball up at times well. He was unlucky with the one in the first half where Gassama does well to get the ball back and he heads it and it hits off the bar. Maybe if he had a goal under his belt, he might have headed it sort of slightly downwards and scored. I thought he was unlucky. He's got the £8 million price tag over his head, though, Ross, which I said for day one. As soon as he came in here and he doesn't hit the ground running, he'll be hit over the head with that. The same with the boy Engels at Celtic with the £11 million over his head, and Ida, where they played £9 million for as well. So it's difficult because we've not really seen him. We've seen him in 2 European ties pretty much. I'm not want to judge him over 2 games, especially in this Rangers team at the moment. And it's an extremely poor Rangers team. It'd be different to see him if it goes the way we would like it to go and a new Rangers manager comes in further down the line, which I don't see in terms of, and he might rip it up and we'll see what happens. But he's big, he can hold the ball up. Does he strike fear into me in terms of if you were a defender? Probably not. You look at his track record, the last time he scored a goal was at Sporting Lisbon, I think. I don't think he didn't score a goal for Everton when he went there. Doesn't look like he's going to score a lot of goals for us at the moment, but then again, he's not getting the service. I mean, we are powder puff up front, Ross. I mean, you look at them, we're averaging something like 1 goal a game, which is dreadful. And that's why we're not winning games and we're drawing games of football. So, like I say, I think you could put any striker up front for Rangers at the moment, the best strikers in the world, and I think they would look bang average because of what's behind them and what's supporting them. And I feel sorry for him because he's got the £8 million tag over him. And I feel sorry for Miofsky as well, a guy we know can score goals, but they're not getting the service. So these guys aren't going to get the service, they're not going to score goals. And that's the big thing for me. So, yeah, until we fix that, I think we'll continue to see the two of them struggle up front, which is a sad state of affairs because I think we've got a good front line with Gassama, Miofsky, Chermiti, Ant-Man as well, who's fallen off an absolute bloody cliff. I think we've got the makings of good players up front, but under this Russell Martin tactics, I just think you're going to see them struggle, Ross. I really do.
I think that's probably the most frustrating thing, Scott, is that I think genuinely we have cracked the winger situation, definitely in terms of Gassama. I mean, in terms of the guy putting a ball into the box, I mean, he did it last night, to be fair. And Ant-Man, we know what he's like for assists and his track record with assists. We have good wingers there. The strikers should be absolutely feeding off them. Genuinely, it should be an absolute field day for the two of them, for the three of them, if you will. Danilo as well, I'm sure. he'd make the wingers make the job easy. I know Ali.
You bring Danilo into us for Christ's sake, Ross. God.
I might need to mention them again later on, but I might need to leave that wee note out there. But we might come to Danilo at some point. But Carney, Ali makes the point. When there's no service, it is kind of hard to analyse our strikers just now, because that's ultimately their life at Rangers will be made on scoring goals. If they're not given the facilities to score goals, then what can we do?
100% agree. As I say, I don't think buying Majowski was a shoe-on bet for him to score 30 goals this season. I don't. But what I did like about the business was this guy can score goals in this league, and with no disrespect to Aberdeen, if he can score the amount of goals that he scored for Aberdeen, then surely, given the right service for Rangers, and based on the amount of chances we should create against the majority of the teams in the league, then he should get a barrel load. I mean, let's be honest about it. Okay, he had a poor miss against Livingston. Yes, it was a poor miss. But even at that, he's not getting the chances frequently. The chance that he got in the opportunity he had, the one that he put over the bar, he's not getting them constantly. It's not as if he's consistently getting them. We just don't create anything. With Russell Martin's ideology that we've seen in that first half last night in particular, Rangers do nothing. We literally do nothing. We get the ball to Gassama and we hope that he does something. We hope that he beats his man. We hope that he gets a cross in. Worked a couple of times. Shameti, again, the header, probably a bit unlucky with the header. The other one that's to his feet, I think he should get a better connection with that. Again, I might be being overcritical, but and going back to Shameti, my concern right now with him is I've not seen anything in him that makes me think he's an £8 million striker for us, if that makes sense. I'm not writing the guy off. It's not his fault that Rangers have paid £8 million for him, but so far, him being our second highest signing ever, literally ever, so far I'm not seeing where that £8 million is justified so far. I'm hoping I'm wrong. And it is hard to judge people in this current climate of what's happening within the club and what we're seeing and the feelings of the fans. So again, it's difficult to be overcritical. And the players, well, at this point, they're kind of past the point of getting criticism now. They'll still be brought up into the conversation, yes, but the majority of what's going on, I think we all know, is down to what the head coach and the coaching staff are deciding to do with these players. Like Ali mentioned, Ant-Man, from the guy that we seen in that game against was it Victoria Pilsen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the guy that we seen there, who literally had been in the country about 20 minutes, and he came on the park and he was brilliant. I mean, everything that you want to see from a winger, I was like, great. I don't think it's a coincidence that Russell Martin's his coach and he's going back the way. I honestly don't. I think when you look at the evidence provided to you through the whole tenure of Russell Martin so far, in terms of chance created, in terms of goals scored, XG, all that stuff, if you want to dive deep into it, Russell Martin's not only making us poor to watch, he's making us worse in every competition that we're in. We're shockingly bad. We really are shockingly bad. He broke a record last night that stood from 1897, I think it was. I mean, it's a circus, this. It really is a circus. It's beyond the farce. It's beyond us sitting here saying Russell Martin should be sacked, because of course he should be sacked. I mean, of course he should be sacked. There is no way back for this guy. Absolutely none. Everybody's finished with it. But we are getting made to suffer this. We're getting made to suffer it. And it's already been too long. So I've got no idea what your original question was, Ross, but I hope I answered it in there, mate.
I'll be honest and say I'm the exact same, mate. I was listening to yourself. I think it was just more down the lines of Chermiti, but you're spot on. It is, when I almost spat out my cornflakes this morning whenever you read out that stat from before the 1900s. I mean, that's remarkable. And we as Rangers fans have been rather unfortunate to listening to some rather embarrassing historical data in terms of how bad we've been, how many goals conceded since then. That one takes it for me. Genuinely, that is wild. But anyways, it's been 5 minutes or so. So there must have been another Rangers goal to talk about conceding. Yes, there is. The 35th minute of the game is a free kick to Sturm Graz. Genuinely, one pass breaks a whole back line, Ali. To be fair, the number 10 latches on to a good bit of pace on him and slots it home. But the commentary after, if you listen back to the highlights, the commentator, well, how easy is that? Need I say any more?
I said to Carney last night, and Scotia said to me weeks ago about this high line Rangers play. And I said we'll get done with it. And they've obviously done their homework on us in terms of how we set up. And the high line was ridiculous, to be honest. Decent pace in the ball by the guy to play that slip ball. But that's far too easy. It's beyond schoolboy football stuff, that. And you just come to expect it for this Rangers team at the moment. Defensively, it's absolutely all over the shop. And he talks about, and I keep bringing this up tonight, mentality. That's no mentality, that second goal. Rangers were coached to do that. He's coached them to do that high line. That's on him. So when's he going to take responsibility, Russell Martin? I've not heard him once take responsibility and say, because you've heard it for previous Rangers managers say, that's on me, I made a mistake, etc. And they have. You've heard it for Clement, you've heard it for Gio, Michael Beale, etc. He won't take responsibility. Mentality, he's hiding behind it, and he's throwing a lot of these players under the bus. So I can't have that for Russell Martin in terms of he talks about the 2 goals mentality. The second goal in particular, Ross, that's not mentality. He's coached them to do that, and we've been caught with our pants down.
100% agree. 100% agree. There's playing a high line, mate. There is playing a high line, and then there's playing a high line there. Why are you leaving 30 yards behind you, or how many yards it was? Why are you leaving that amount of space for them to run onto? We don't have a fast back line. Magoma's probably the fastest that we have. Nobody else there, like our 2 centre halves, are not blessed with lightning speed or recovery speed. It is the audacity for Russell Martin to stand there and say that that's mentality. I thought I was angry during the post match last night. See, when I heard his post match after it, I was like, this guy is literally, he's gaslighting us to new levels that I've not seen from a Rangers manager before. That is not mentality. And when you've got a manager or head coach standing there who, after the Livingston game, said, we're building something together here as a team. The guys kept going to me until the end, blah, blah, blah. And 4 days later, you question your mentality. I mean, make up your mind, Russell. The players must be looking at this guy going, you're an idiot. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you believe in us or you don't believe in us. It's beyond a farce. He's just a guy that is so unbelievably arrogant and ignorant, and he's going to stand there and say, it's not my fault. This isn't my fault. Nothing to do with me. There's nothing to do with me why we're doing this. So yeah, what Ali said, that goal's got nothing to do with mentality. 100%.
I literally can't put it any better than you, gents. Generally, I can't. It's, one thing that we have highlighted many times in the pod, that it's not personal towards Russell Martin. In terms of the backlash that he gets, it's not personal. He's now starting to tread on that thin ice.
He is.
Scott, you're right. That where you listen to these things and go, right, there's some grit in my teeth here. Like, genuinely, my eyes twitching whenever I can hear this, and you're spot on, because ultimately, we're sat behind a screen watching this. If you did a live press conference, I mean, there's one for you, a live Rangers press conference. Would you ever see the day? Imagine this climate. It is very frustrating. The guy is treading. But yes, it's just a recurring theme every week. It just seems Russell Martin is the topic of conversation, and rightly so. Let's be honest. So that brings to a close the first half of the game. Second half, we kick on. We very much kick on. And one thing you gents mentioned, whenever the game plan goes out the window, look what happens. Genuinely, the players, Russell Martin does speak a lot about, the players, running for each other, doing it for each other. Genuinely, I can see when the shackles are off, they're doing it for each other on the pitch. Maybe not necessarily for the manager, but it looks like they all give it just that wee bit more to each other. And you see it in this first goal. Raskin plays out to Gassama. A Neymar touch. Now, gents, for a youngster like me, seeing a Neymar touch, genuinely, off my seat. and he drives right at the defender, and it's a great strike into the bottom left corner. Ali, Gisama is a one-man team just now, generally as a one-man team, and I'll sing the guy's praises. I won't lie in saying that I've very much caught the Gisama bug. Whenever we had Ryan Kent back in the day, I was Ryan Kent's fanboy, and genuinely till the day that I died, Ryan Kent was the guy. Gisama's very, very close to becoming that guy for me. Whenever that second half kicked off, it was literally just pass the ball to Gisama and hope that it works. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not a I guess a tactic that you can go on for long periods of time. It's not sustainable. You could say at the end of the game, the poor guy was understandably, he's had a tough shift. But Gisama, outstanding again from him. And generally, where would they be without the guy?
He's the one guy that gets you off your seat as a Rangers fan, Gisama. And all we've done this season is get the ball to Gisama. Individual moments. We'll hope he'll do something. We'll hope he'll beat a guy. 9 times out of 10, he can beat the guy. He had that full back and toast last night, their right back. I knew instantly first half he beat him a couple of times. You knew that. He's got a great touch, by the way, for a winger. Wingers sometimes have a bit of a dodgy touch. Sometimes he's got a great touch where he can control a ball. And he can score as well. That's 5 goals, all in Europe for Gisama. He's the one shining light for us. I did say to Carney, though, teams will know that he's our one-out ball, if you want to say. The right-hand side was nullified, and it was all on the left-hand side. I actually thought Cornelius actually linked up quite well on the left-hand side in the second half. I thought he was a bit of a threat. He was going beyond Gisama, which was giving him more space inside, and that led to that goal. A fantastic strike by Gisama. You know he's got in his locker. How many times have you seen him at Ibrox drift onto that right foot and try and whip it? And he's been unlucky recently. He's hit the post a couple of times and just went by the post. But if we didn't have Gisama in that team, and it is similarities to Ryan Kent in terms of what you say, where he was a bit of an outball for us. I honestly don't know where we would be, because he is the one shining light where if you do give the ball to him, something can happen. And I don't know why you're talking about Asgard at all, but he was the one guy we said, Ross, we were looking forward to seeing in terms of he's playing that 10. He's offered absolutely nothing as a number 10. Looks lethargic, too safe in the ball for me, doesn't commit players, extremely poor. But then you look at Gisama, 21 years of age, young, wants to go buy players, bit of cockiness about him, which I like. I think you need that as well. And he's a shining light for us. He really is. I just wish other players would come up to his standard. But I agree with you in terms of what you said, in terms of the shackles were off the players. When they're off the players, they start to play with a bit of freedom and they look better because they're not playing under this Russell Martin style, if you want to say, or the way he wants to play. So it's a worrying state of affairs, Ross. It really is. But I mean, that goal in particular was a great goal because we know he's got it in his locker. He'll do that again this season. You know he will. But we can't continually rely on one guy. We can't do it because we'll come up short. And we did come up short last night. But he is a shining light in this Rangers team.
Definitely. Carney, we'll come straight on to a man that I mentioned there in terms of Tello Asgard. Now, he was one that when he did come in the door, you do the wrong thing, right? You look on YouTube, you look at the compilations, and you see that the guy, he's got that cool haircut, he's scored a few decent goals, it's something to get behind, but he's just, unfortunately, just now, he's not. He's got tiny touches on the ball. He does genuinely, he does pick up a ball well, but in terms of the output we're looking for at that area of the pitch specifically is something that is very much what we're hoping to see rather than have seen so far. So what's your kind of take on Asgard? And obviously a take on Gisama as well, the incredible individual that he is. But Asgard as well, mate. What are we thinking?
Quickly on Gisama, and I'll go to Asgard. Gisama is everything you've said. There's nothing that I can disagree with. And even Russell Martin tried his hardest to make Gisama worse by playing him on the right-hand side for a few games. And he's finally realised, I better pan back on the left because we'll actually get something from him. And he has become our outball. He has become the guy that we just hope does something. But his finish last night is tremendous. His touch. Keeper should maybe do better, but the touch to bring it down, the cutting inside, creating the space for himself, deserved his goal after his efforts last night. He really really did. If there was a man in the match for Rangers last night, I think we would all pick the same man. Asgard is... I hope you know what I mean by this. I really want him to be good. Like, I really want him to be good. I'm like, be good. Right now, again, maybe he falls under the category of it's hard to judge him right now in this current Rangers team the way that we are currently playing. But so far from who's meant to be our kind of creative player in that 10 in the final third, he's meant to be the guy in the middle of the pitch to create the chances for the likes of Majowski, for Shermitty, for to bring the wingers into play, even bring Raskin into play when Raskin makes his runs forward. We're not seeing it. We're just not seeing it from him. At times he looks knackered, like proper knackered. Whether he just can't be bothered running or he just isn't running, I don't know, but he looks tired. And yes, so far he's been a bit of a disappointment. He really has been a bit of a disappointment. He is one guy that I was quite excited about, same as you, Ross. I went on, did the obligatory YouTube looking at him, read up on different articles from him from last season, had seen him at different match reports, and most of the time it was pretty glowing reports. But so far we've not seen it. We've really not seen it. He's very clever, I think, at bringing the ball in with his feet. He can win fouls very well. He's winning them too far in our half at times, and almost to relieve the pressure when we are getting pinned back against Livy, when we are getting pinned back. But I want to see more from him. I really want to see more from him. Not a guy that I'm going to write off at all in any stretch of the imagination as of yet. But we have to be seeing more from him, because so far he's not exactly set the header alight, mate.
No, far from it, far from it. There is time, there is definitely time. I think we do almost need to caveat with, we can't give a lot of players, too much of a, right, this guy's definite not for us because of the kind of situation that we're in just now. But here's somebody that at this stage of the season, into October, you'd hope you'd have seen something that you'd maybe be a bit more excited about, other than obviously that incredible international return of 4 goals. I mean, that's something. You watch that back, you go, right, okay, now we're talking. Yet to see it a Rangers shot for me, and I think that's probably the biggest frustration there. So going into the rest of the game, it was very much Rangers won the ascendancy. You could tell that Rangers were a team who, as we say, shackles are off. You're going for a goal. You need to go for a goal, and we have to have me puffed. I'll put it that way. We did huff me puff. A few another cracking saves from Butland. As I say, there's a genuine theme there that there's so many occasions that, they don't necessarily, they'll make the highlight reels for the wrong reasons, but you won't necessarily always remember Butland's goals. I think we'll sit back at the end of the season, gents, and go, we'd be far, far behind if it wasn't for the guy. But again, we've waxed lyrical about him, and we'll probably continue to do so because defensively, we're just not there. The 89th minute, a late effort from Suter inside the box. And other than that, that was all she wrote, really. Danilo did come on. I was trying to gloss over that bit to save Ali some torture. But that was very much all she wrote for Stuttgart 2, Rangers 1. It's a frustrating one. It's the Europa League. We do look forward to it. We look forward to, sitting down, going to the games, etc. There's very little to get behind just now in all areas. At least last season, you could go, all right, okay, domestically we're not great. There's maybe something to come in Europe. There's nothing coming. Changes need made. Simple as that. Changes need made because we need something to look forward to with our club again. But no worries, as James says, because Robbie Thelwell will come in to save the day. Gents, I just thought we'd touch on this quickly. It was obviously discussed. It was obviously reported that Robbie Thelwell, Kevin Thelwell's son, has been appointed as the new head of recruitment of Rangers. Obviously, Kevin Thelwell very much in the limelight just now, which we'll come on to as well for a certain social media video that was doing the rounds. Kevin Thelwell, our sporting director, obviously his job's to kind of steer our club in the right direction in all aspects of the kind of on-pitch duties. Very, very prestige job. Now, Ali, whenever you bring in your boy, it probably is seen a bit in a, I don't know, controversial light maybe. Always go back to the days of grassroots football. You know that your coach's son he's always playing. Every single time he's playing, he's getting the priority. Are we right to? Am I reading too much into it? Are we right to feel slightly off with this appointment? He's 26 years old. What's your kind of thoughts for this news that has just broke out recently?
It doesn't look good. See, if we were going extremely, if you flipped it and we were going extremely well at the moment, we're top of the league, winning games in Europe, this wouldn't be a story. I don't think it would. But for Rangers to be looking extensively for a candidate for this position, and then the candidate that we pull out the hat is Thelwell's son, especially the way it is at the moment and the way the support is, it's not a good look. I don't know the boy myself. I know he's 26 years of age. I think he's been at Norwich recently. I don't know much about him, but it doesn't look good. You look at Thelwell, what he's kind of done this season. Carney touched on it last night. Brought Chermetti up the road for £8 million. Our second biggest transfer. A guy he paid $15 million for at Everton, who ultimately failed. Now he's bringing his son in. I've seen Rangers are looking for other positions on LinkedIn today. So if you're part of Thelwell's circle, you might get in there. But we can have a laugh and joke about it. But it just, where we sit at the moment, Ross, it doesn't look good for me. Read the room, I would say. And this Rangers board, under directors, Thelwell, Patrick Stewart, they're not reading the room at all. It's a bizarre one. I hope the boy comes in and he proves us wrong and he can bring in some good players for us. 26 years of age, quite young. Yeah, he has been at Norwich, but I don't know enough about him to really say whether he's up to it or not. But it's not a good look, Ross. It isn't a good look when it's his boy coming in. And how does he manage him? Because it's his boy at the end of the day. I know there's some businesses where there's family businesses. I work with my mum. I actually brought my mum into the work we're in, but there's a lot of family businesses where the son or daughter, whoever, takes over, and they're actually judged harder than bringing somebody else in because they're family. So it'll be interesting, but at this moment in time, I just don't think it's a good look, and it's another bat to hit him over the head with. Really, that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing, Carney. Is definitely a big bat over the head that we could use. Interestingly, as Ali said, down at Norwich, he was head of technical scouting and loan management. So strap yourselves in, lads, for another season of loan defenders. As the first thing I heard, I was like, well, that makes sense. You know, things are starting to align. But Carney, as I say, it's very much it's a grey area in terms of I don't quite know what to make of it. It's one of these things that I'll nod my head at and go, right, okay. Like I'm not enraged by it, but it does leave that wee bit of, I guess, skepticism in the back of your head, mate. But where do you kind of lie with this?
I wouldn't say I'm enraged, but I do not like it in the slightest. I'm not even going to pretend that I like it. When I seen the news break on Rangers Review, I actually had to check if it was a parody account because I thought there is no way that we're doing this. This cannot be true. Lo and behold, it is. After a thorough recruitment process, it's his son. What are the odds of that? I mean, what? You couldn't really make that up. Imagine the recruitment process here. You'll never guess what, by the way. Your boy? No, it's not. No, I isn't telling you. Oh, God, what am I like, man? Ridiculous. Honestly, just absolutely ridiculous. This very rarely works out, mate. This is clearly Thelwell, Stewart, the board, they don't care about public opinion. They don't care about what anybody else is going to think. Optics means nothing to them, absolutely nothing to them. Thelwell's in the process of recruiting everybody that's ever failed at Everton. Took out my Ibrox here, by the way. Rangers are going to double your wage. We've got minted owners, by the way. Minted owners. Come on up, I'll double your wage. That's what it looks like to me. Genuinely, that's what it looks like to me. The appointment of this is ridiculous. Whether he is a qualified, and I'm not disrespecting him, whether he's qualified for it or not, whether he's going to be good at it or not, we're not going to know for, maybe 2 years, 18 months at least, until he gets a couple of windows under his belt and we see what recruitment is done under him. But is what Thelwell going to sack him? You try to tell me Thelwell's going to sack him if he's not doing good at his job? Can you really be subjective to your son? I couldn't. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I could do something like that. It's just the most ridiculous thing ever, mate. And it's just, it turned us from a farce into a circus. And now it's just anything goes. Virtually anything goes. I have real concerns about Patrick Stewart even slightly saying, aye, no, go for it. Appoint your son. Yeah, appoint for your son. That'll go down really well. That's what will happen there. That'll go down really well as words that nobody said. And if they did say it, they're at the wrong football club. Ali's right. If we'd been flying, and even if this was a year down the line and we'd done a really solid, good season, you'd be going, fair enough, you wouldn't matter, but it's context behind all of it. Everything really is about context now with Rangers, and this is so far away from the mark, it's not even funny. It really isn't. It's I don't like it even slightly. The guy's doomed before he starts. He really is doomed before he starts. And yeah, Thelwell, he's just appointing his pals, isn't he? There's no way we're doing any sort of lengthy recruitment for the right people for the right job. It isn't. He's getting the guys in that he's worked with before, that he's failed with before. That's what he's doing right now. And yeah, his son's just another one to add to that list. If you go on any Norwich site, they're not disappointed to see the back of Robbie. So that just tells you everything to me that you need to know. A terrible, terrible move by the club. Really is. There's nothing about it that I like. Generally nothing. I want the guy to prove me wrong. I always want to be wrong, but it's shocking. It is absolutely shocking.
I guess it is kind of relevant at the moment, Ali, mate, in terms of what we've woken up to see on Twitter. We'll touch on this briefly because it's definitely one not the most positive of topics, but there was a certain video going about social medias this morning. I was saying to Carly before we came on, I've actually made a decent habit of, I've not been checking Twitter as much recently, probably for my own good health, with the Rangers sentiment that goes about these days, rightly so. But I go on this morning and there's a video of both Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell being, I guess, in a bit of a conversation with a understandably not very happy fan. And the one for me, I believe, one of the kind of comments that are coming out for it is that Patrick Stewart asks a fan who he'd like as the next Rangers manager. I mean, there's your recruitment process: 7 interviews. Not just ask a fan with a corona in his hand. That's all you need to do. So Ali, seeing that video this morning, it's just whenever we see videos like this, you saw it the other week with Asgard getting it. You saw it last season with Tav, Butland. It just screams where the club currently are. Obviously, we don't want to dwell on it too much, but it's not a good look for the club.
It's not. And in the era we're in now with camera phones and stuff, everything's filmed these days. I seen it today and I was like, oh, God, why? It brought me back to Pedro Caixinha and all that, and I thought, oh God, it's just something else that other fans of other football clubs can just have a laugh at us at the moment, and I don't blame it, to be honest. I don't blame the two guys in the video for having a go at them and telling them what they felt. These are guys that probably follow Rangers week in, week out, go all these European ties, spend thousands of pounds watching Rangers. But for Patrick Stewart to turn around to one of the Rangers fans and say, who would you want? I just thought, oh God, is that where we're at? And fair play to the actual guy. He turned back to Patrick Stewart and says, well, that's no my job. That's yours. And he was bang on with it. So I don't blame the two guys for having a go. They've obviously had a wee drink in them. They've come back after the game angry, just like the rest of us, and probably wanted to say their piece. If it is a Rangers fan, you don't get the chance to say to these guys because they're not in the same world as us. You don't bump into the street usually. So these guys over there, they had their chance to say what they wanted to say, and they did. And they told them exactly what we think as a support. So yeah, fair play to them. But I don't know what Thelwell's really going to say back to these fans. I mean, he's not really going to have a go at them, especially when he knows folk are video. And I think he did say in that video something along the lines that he's as annoyed as the rest of us. Is he really? But Patrick Stewart, was a silly comment. to say back to a fan when it's getting videoed to ask him who made you a point. But it's starting to become a circus now, Ross. And you look back months ago when these new owners come in and there was fresh investment, buzz of excitement about where we're going to go. And if somebody had told you 3 months down the line would be right here, right now, you would have laughed at it. It's an absolute shambles. We're a shambles of a football club at the moment, a shambles on the park and off the park at the moment. And they're just not reading the room, these guys, at all, in terms of the way the fans are feeling. And it's probably going to get worse, Ross. If you think it's worse now, I think it'll get worse. Sunday's a big game. We have to win it. If we don't win that game on Sunday, I know there's an international break coming up, but the heat will be turned up even more. And Ibrox, when we go back in the 18th, will not be a nice place to be. There's a lot of Rangers fans not wanting to go there. Me and Carney, no doubt, will be there for our sins because we're on a podcast as well. But they're just not reading the room. They're not reading the fans at the moment, and that just proved that what we all think behind the scenes. To be honest, I honestly think Russell Martin's going to be here for the duration of this season, regardless of what happens. I really do.
I think you're spot on, mate. It's baffling how I struggle to see how Aldway he stays, but I do see it. There's no other manager, it seems, that would have stayed by now. Why is it now? Why is Russell Martin the standout? It is baffling for me. Scott, obviously, just quickly, mate, on the videos. Has Patrick Stewart, is that his new? Has he let his cards be seen? Is that how we're going to be recruiting the next Rangers manager? I mean, Steven Gerrard will have a very easy interview if that's the process.
Patrick Stewart's just made things worse for himself, in my opinion, because this is already a guy that is refusing to face up to the fans, really, by doing some form of interview in some way to discuss what's actually happening behind the scenes and what our decision processes are, etc. And I know all these things all the time don't exactly please fans, but you at least have to own up to the stuff, and you at least have to put this stuff out there. To say that to a fan, look, Patrick Stewart's probably never been confronted like that in his life, and he was probably like, what am I doing here? And it's not as if the guy was being aggressive. The fans were angry. The fans have got every right to be angry. These guys especially, these are the guys that go everywhere. They follow Rangers around the world. Doesn't matter where they go. They guys have got more opinion, well, not more right, but you get where I'm coming from. These are the guys that through thick and thin, no matter what, home and away, these guys will go and do it. They're quite right to express their concerns. And everybody would have been pumping with a general at the time. Both of the guys probably thought, there's Thelwell and Stewart here. And they've just went to have a chat. And obviously things are heightened, yes. I don't think anything was out of line, what they said. I think Patrick Stewart saying that to a fan shows just how much of a spineless leader this guy is. And no wonder the guy went, I can't believe you've just asked me that question. And fair play to the guy for going, that's not my job. And that's why every time people say to us, and we say, who do you want as a manager? That's not my job. My job's not to decide who the next Rangers manager is going to be. It's not part of what I want. People say, who do you want then? Pep, like whoever, Arteta, we're not going to get him. But that's who I want. I would love them to be the manager of Rangers, but that's not the point. That's not what I'm getting at. So for Patrick Stewart to turn in and do that, and Thelwell as well, but the way that they were saying, the way Thelwell responded, I'm going, you're acting like you don't have a responsibility. And I think Blue Nose John just said it sounded like they're not in control of the manager situation. They 100% they are, mate. 100% they are. The owners can come in and overrule it. Of course they can, because it's their club. It's our club, but you know what I mean? They're the owners right now. They're the custodians of this club. They can come in and go, this isn't happening anymore, so you need to get rid of him. It's quite simple as that. Thelwell will not sack Russell Martin. That's his pal. In my opinion, this was all part of the plan. Russell Martin was always going to be the Rangers manager once Thelwell was put into position, because he would have made the recommendation, and this is who he wants, this is who we're going to go for. And I think it's clear as day that now. He will not sack Russell Martin, because if he does, it's then turned on him. He's the one that will be under the spotlight for it. obviously depends on who he recruits in, and everybody's already saying Sean Dyche. If that's to happen, Russell Martin goes, no disrespect to Sean Dyche, and it is Sean Dyche, and Thelwell needs to go immediately, because the guy's just appointing pals. He's literally just appointing pals that he's worked with before. That's not a success. That's not thorough. That's not doing things properly for the sake of this football club. That's doing things for yourself, and that's not what we need. That is generally not what we need. So fair play to the guys for approaching it and doing what they did, but neither of Stuart or Thelwell covered himself in any glory, and Ali's spot on. This is literally the tip of the iceberg now, and if they are not going to come out and address the fans, then the fans are now going to move past what Russell Martin's doing, past what Russell, because we all believe we're probably 99.9. I've yet to meet that 0.1% of our Rangers fan, 0.01% of our Rangers fan that's saying Martin should be the guy that stays in charge. So we've all moved past that now. The next guy in line, Thelwell. The next one after that's Patrick Stewart. And yeah, I would not be sad to see Patrick Stewart walk out Ibrox tonight. I wouldn't be disappointed in that at all. So yeah, fair play to the guys, but it is just literally the tip of the iceberg, mate. It really is.
Yep, no, spot on it is, and it's, the one thing that Mr. Martin has said will fix, what will change the fans' opinions, winning football games. Well, Martin, you have that opportunity this Sunday, 3:00 on Sunday, ladies and gents. Rangers travel to Falkirk. That is the first time playing them as they have been promoted to the Scottish Premiership, and the Falkirk Stadium is a inventive name, that one, the Falkirk Stadium. It's very, very grand. But Falkirk, as things stand, currently sit 11th. They are played one less game behind 9th and 10th, to be fair to them. So they are round about where we are. That's baffling. Genuinely, that is baffling. But here we are. We are back to the Plastic Park again after Livy last week. I can already hear the nerves coming from the physio team. I can hear them. Obviously, the current club of Scotty Arfield. What he do for an instinctive goal scorer like him, by the way. Honestly, I'll take a guy back in a heartbeat. But yes, Falkirk it is on Sunday. They I'm sure will be right up for it. They should never be right up for it, but they will be. Obviously, there's just no fear playing Rangers. There's now no fear at all. And going away from home, I actually the last time I can remember we played Falkirk, Calvin Bassey scored. It was in the 55 season. So fond memories back there. Please can we do something similar? That's all I can ask for. Ali, going on to Sunday, how are we feeling going into this game? Obviously, back to league football, back to the usual, the norm. Falkirk, are they anything to fear?
They shouldn't be, but with this Rangers team, nothing's a given at the moment. If you're Falkirk, as poor as they've started the season, and they've come up from the Championship, Falkirk, so you'd expect them to be where they are, let's be honest about it. But they'll be buzzing for it. It's their cup final when we come through there, as it is when Celtic go through there, but they'll be up for it. They'll look at this Rangers team at the moment. They know they'll be able to get joy. They could probably look back to teams like Hearts, etc., that have played against Rangers. And I think they'll get in our faces and try and upset some of these players and see if they like it. Rangers should beat Falkirk. Even as poor as this Rangers team is, they should. But do I have any hope that they will? I don't know. I think it could be a slog again. I think it'll be similar to Livingston. I know we're on the Plastic Park again. I think their park's slightly better than Livingston's Plastic Park. But I think it'll be a slog, Ross. I really do. I think we may win, but I think it'll be a slog again. I think it could be a 2-1 again, something like that. I don't expect Rangers to go there and blow Falkirk away, and after it we go, "Oof, where's that been missing?" I don't expect it at all. I think it'll be an absolute slog by a Rangers team, and I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. The only thing I'm looking forward to is I don't need to go to Ibrox this week. It's away from home, and you just don't know. I know there wasn't a presser today, I don't think, with Russell Martin, which was another positive, because all we would hear is they've been fucking fantastic in training this week and they'll grow as players, as individuals and all this nonsense. So at least I don't need to hear that. But if I'm Falkirk on Sunday, I'm going into that game right up for it. because it's a scalp for them. And it wouldn't shock me if Falkirk got a result on Sunday. I'll be honest about it.
Carney, obviously, for the listeners, Scott has a picture of Scotty Arfield and has set up a fantastic photo of the gent himself. But it's written in the stars for Scott Arfield salute. I don't know if he did it against Rangers, but genuinely, there's very, very high chances of that happening. I mean, going into Sunday, let's be fair, we should never fear going into a domestic game. I'll say it simple as that. We shouldn't ever fear going into any sort of domestic game. Obviously, Old Firm's a different kettle of fish, but there's a lack of optimism around everyone, as there should be, as we're playing. For a team like Falkirk, with all due respect to them, we should be putting them away, surely. We should be coming away from there 2-3-0, but I don't know about you, mate. I'm not feeling it at all.
No, not even slightly. Scotty Arfield, I've got the picture beside him. It's signed, that one, so that's why he's there. Look, I can't disagree with anything Ali said. Am I looking forward to Sunday? No. Going on what we've seen most recently under Russell Martin, and by that I mean the last two games, I expect the same thing. We'll be terrible in the first half. We'll probably be behind at half time. He'll then throw everything at a wall and we might get lucky, we might not. I think it's 50-50 whether Rangers win that game or not on Sunday. And I can't believe that I'm saying that at this stage of the season, going into an away game against Falkirk. If that doesn't tell its own story, I don't know what it is. Usually, even when we've entered some games, and Ali will say this as well, a wee bit of trade secrets, I suppose, with the podcast, when you're not 100% confident of Rangers getting a win, be it away in Europe and stuff, you'll still be like, 2-1 Rangers, come on Rangers, and you'll be up for it, and you'll be this, and you'll be that for it. I wouldn't even try and put that across to our punters, mate, that I'm sitting here believing that Rangers are going to win on Sunday, because I don't. I think it'll be 1 each or 2-1 to either Falkirk or to Rangers. It will depend what team gets lucky on the afternoon, in my opinion. So yeah, roll on Sunday, mate. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. Rangers Russell Martin masterclass is incoming.
Incoming, I hope so. And I'll come back to you, Carney, mate. Your team and your score, please, for Sunday's game.
Same back five. He might bring Giga back in, maybe. Plastic pitch, not sure. I think he'll stick with guys that have played in plastic pitches before. So your Scottish lads, basically. Raskin, Barron, Cameron, if he's fit, I'd get him on the park. A game against Falkirk, again, played on plastic pitches, knows what it's all about. I would be bringing him back in to give Asgard a wee bit of a rest from the firing line. Front three, difficult, man. I would love to think he would go with like a 4-4-2 and completely change it, but I think we all know he won't. So Gassama, will he stick with Shermitty? I'll bring Majowski back in. He'll probably stick with Shermitty, I think. And on the right hand side, I'd bring Curtis in to give him a go at that side of the park, because nothing else is really working. He's coaching the right out of Ant-Man just now. So the good right out of Ant-Man just now. So I'd bring young Curtis back in and give him a try at it. But yeah, as I say, either 1 each or 2-1 to either team, and I couldn't say what.
Ali, what about yourself, your team and your team score and first goal scorer for what sounds like, rightly so, a full house of not so optimistic predictions here?
I think he'll go same back five. I don't think he'll change it. I agree with Carney. Plastic Park. Would he bring Jiki onto that? No, I don't think so. I think he'll stick with that. Midfield, Raskin. I think Carney's pal Diamandi might come back in. Yep. So he'll come back in.
Why? Can I ask why? Genuinely, that's a genuine question. Why?
Because I think he likes him.
What is it like, man?
Well,
Genuinely, what
that's
is
Russell
like?
Martin. I'm going on what I think Russell Martin will play. So I think he'll bring Diamandi back in with Raskin. I agree. I think Cameron might start. I don't know how he was on the bench. I don't know how fit he is, but I think he may start. He's played in the pitches. Asgar's not done it for me, so I think Lyle Cameron might come in. And then the top line will be Gassama as a shoe-in. Through the middle, I think Miovski will come back. And on the right-hand side, it wouldn't shock me if he plays Mikey Moore there. And you know my thoughts on Mikey Moore at the moment, but it would not shock me if he plays Mikey Moore there. So I think he may play Mikey Moore there. I think Rangers will win, but I think it'll be an absolute slog. I'm going to go 2-1 Rangers. Miovski's get the first goal.
I like it. I've went Butland in goal. I'm going a back four. I've kind of it's a bit of an interesting team. Tav, Cornelius, Suter. I generally don't know, gents, if you'll see Aarons coming at left back. Obviously, Magoma hooked at half time last night. I wouldn't be going for it. I'd be sticking with Magoma. I just have a feeling that Aarons is coming potentially back into the manager's thoughts. I hope that's not the case, but we shall see. Midfield 2 of Raskin and Connor Barron. I'm going Ant-Man on the right, Gisama on the left, and up front, 2 men up top, Chermiti and Miovski. We did it at the end of the game last night to try and win the game. Why don't we start? Why don't we start with 2 strikers? Jane, if you go out there with the intent to score goals, let's do it from the start. And with that, I'm going 4-0 Falkirk, up 3-1 Rangers, 3-1 Rangers with a Raskin front post header. That's what I went for. So I hope that comes to fruition. I genuinely do hope so. I've went a wee bit more optimistic there than I intended to. I did initially put down 1 each, but 3-1 it is. 3-1 it is for Rangers. But that does bring to the end Club Live for this evening. We went just over the hour there, so thank you to everyone for sticking with us this evening. And I shall thank my guest, Ali. First of all, mate, thank you very much for that this evening. And yes, we'll roll on to Sunday.
We do. And we've nearly lasted an hour and 7 minutes talking about bloody Rangers. I really don't know what I'm going to see on Sunday. I'm McCartney. You just don't know what you're going to see. I'm not filled with confidence, let's say it. But it wouldn't surprise me if we nicked a result. Because let's be honest, Falkirk aren't great. And we should be beating Falkirk. But you never know with this bloody Rangers team. So we'll see what happens. And after that, I know we always call it the dreaded international break, but I am looking forward to the international break. I don't need to focus on Rangers, to be honest. I know Scotia will be looking forward to his beloved Scotland coming back. But yes, a week off of Rangers will do for me. But he just has to win games of football, Ross. We talk about it. He's got to go on a run. Every time we thought he's got a win, the next game's been bang, we've been beaten. He has to win games of football. And it starts on Sunday. He's got to win.
That it does. It is very much over to you, Rangers. Carney, thank you as always, mate, for tonight. It was a very, very good chat. I'm feeling light after that. You know, I was rather jealous of you to get to come on and chat last night. So I'm glad to be here with you both this evening. But thank you for tonight, mate.
Yeah, no problem, mate. It's always a pleasure to come on, mate. It's never really a chore. I just wish it was under better circumstances. I really do. I say it all the time. We're just honest. We always are honest. I think we're now at the point where everybody expects to know what we're going to say because there is no change happening. Noxie RFC, thank you very much for coming a member. And I've seen one comment I'll finish with from Graham. He said he'll start Danilo on Sunday just because. If that happens, I swear it, you'll see Alistair Pearson run across the pitch at Falkirk Stadium and fly tackle Russell Martin at neck height. I'm just warning you, if you think the video of the fans approaching Thelwell and Patrick Stewart were bad, if that happens, Ali will spend the night in the cells. That's for absolutely sure. No, look, pleasure as always. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and yeah, we'll be back on Sunday, win, lose or draw.
That will be. I hope to hear Oasis playing from the absolute rooftops on Sunday. He is Brazilian and only costs $6 million. As Carney says, we will be back on Sunday. Win, lose or draw. And yes, we hope to be bringing you a positive podcast. But before you go, please, as always, subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 8,000 subscribers. So any help there would be massively appreciated. Thank you again to my two guests for this evening. And yes, enjoy your weekend, folks. Please enjoy it. And we shall speak to you on Sunday. We are Club at 22 at the Rangers podcast. Thank you very much.